boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a meta discussion or something. Well, as you guys saw in the title, I'm going to complain about something. Well, more like stating my opinion. I have about 10 minutes or so. Hopefully I will say everything in these because I don't want the video to be too long. I always do this between at the beginning of every season, talking about the patch notes. I'm going to upload this video also a little bit early. I'm going to focus on the main thing. So if you're here, you're new, you haven't heard about the balance changes, they're not live yet. They're going to be live a few hours probably after you see this video. So I'm not going to put the entire balance patch notes. If you want it, you can always Google it. If I didn't forget, I will put the link down below. We're going to be talking mainly about Ramattra because the video will be way too long. It has already gone too long. So if I talk about everything, it'll be way too long. So this is what I want to talk about for the rest of the video. If you click the video to hear about my opinion about Ramattra, feel free to stay. But if you don't want to hear me complaining for a while, then okay. So please let's be respectful in the comments. I know on one of my last videos that people were kind of rude when I stated my opinion, calling me complaining and stuff like that. Guys, if you'd like, everyone's experience differ. I'm not saying I'm wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right, and you're certainly not wrong. Everyone's had their opinion, so please be respectful in the comments. If you agree, tell me that you agree. If you don't agree, and if you disagree with me, tell me your opinion. Tell me why you disagree, and tell me what's your opinion. Anyways, so Ramattra. Now, Ramattra Pummel no longer pierces barriers, but it deals 2.5 more damage to barriers. Now, I'm going to tell you why Ramattra, why this is one of the biggest nerfs Ramattra is going to ever get. Not just has ever gotten, but probably he's going to ever get. And if this does not get reverted immediately, Ramattra will be dead. I don't usually use the word dead for a hero because dead means he's unplayable, literally, no matter what you do. So, and I'm going to express to you, and I'm going to tell you the reason why he is completely dead. And I'm talking even like more than Maga dead. Like Maga is very situational. He has his matchups. He's good in his matchups, and he's so terrible and anything else. Ramattra is going to be even worse than Maga. Now, let's go. So, and by the way, they did this to attack the quote-unquote counter-swapping problem. Now, let me tell you, by the way, first of all, in my opinion, next season is going to be Brigitte gets an indirect buff because Ramattra Nerf is a Brigitte buff because his damage won't go through her shield. Ryan is going to be meta because he's supposed to be get countered by Ramattra. Now, let me talk about Ramattra as a character. I peaked top 500. I play tank. It's my best role. My favorite tank, it's to play Ramattra, even though I don't get to play him a lot, but he's still one of my favorites. You don't really get to play Ramattra a lot, guys, across all ranks. One of the reasons I feel like one of the situations where I actually go Ramattra is two situations. One, when I see Sigma, because you need to, if he's Sigma just going down, poking me out, I want to push the point, pressuring him, also poking his backline, whether it's a Widow or stuff like that, I go Ram and I double down on him. But the problem is, now, this is very, very, Ramattra's matchups are Sigma, he has pretty good matchup against the Sigma, but also actually Sigma has I would say 60-40 to Ramattra, but also that really depends on what support. The thing is with Ramattra, he needs support lineup. He needs support lineup to work. The thing, because keep in mind, when Ramattra wants to do damage for his Nemesis form, now this is also one of the reasons why Ramattra, this nerf is really massive. It's like imagine if Ryan's melee damage, his hammer, won't go through shield. Like, what's the point of playing Ryan? You know what I mean? Because keep in mind, when Ryan wants to do damage, all he needs to do is swing his hammer, right? That's what he needs to do to do damage. But Ramattra, and by the way, he can just put his shield up whenever he wants to, right? To block abilities and stuff like that. But Ramattra, considering, let's just say even this is his matchup, right? This is supposedly Ramattra's matchup, which is against Reinhardt. That's why we're nerfing him, right? When Ramattra wants to do damage, he needs to use an ability. And an ability has a pretty, healthy or lengthy cooldown. And the thing is with Ramattra, when he clicks in his ability, his Nemesis form, he has two options. He either stands down and, block as many damage as he can, or, do damage and go, so he can shoot and whatever, or pummel whatever that people hiding behind the Reinhardt, right? That's the whole idea of playing Ramattra, supposedly. Your matchup, right? You do damage to the Ryan and stuff like that. But when Ryan, he doesn't need to use an ability, and he can drop his shield whenever, and he can block stuff. Now, when Ramattra also wants to do that, keep in mind, he's exposing himself to all the abilities in the game. Sleep, nade, Discord Zenyatta's damage from afar away, sniper shots, Hanzo's, Bastions. So like most of the time, Ramattra needs to get ability out first before going in, because it's so expensive for Ramattra to go in to begin with, because his get in or make space or go in ability, a time, it's an actual ability that he's to click. And also keep in mind, which he also has to choose between, do I want to block damage with my ability, or do I want to go in and confirm, or like do damage and get kills and get eliminations? It's not like, right, that's the downside of playing Ramattra. And if you literally get hit by one ability, at least in Diamond and above, if there's good focus fire, if you get slept, you're dead. If you get naded, you're dead. Ramattra cannot survive all of that. So he now, not only Ryan is much better against, I'm pretty sure Ryan has matchup now against Ramattra. That's one. But second, even Sigma now has pretty good matchup against the Ram, because Ram needs to. I think I'm gonna have to increase the video a little bit, at least five more minutes, because this is too short. The thing is, so like even Sigma, the one that's supposed to like gets run down pretty well by the Ramattra. Now Sigma has a pretty good matchup, because Ramatra's damage it doesn't get to him, because his damage won't go through shield, right? And this is the thing, I think it really kills the character, because I'm going to get to another point why it kills the character, because these are the two times where I personally, I go ram into, which is against Sigma or a Reinhardt, and I also need to adjust my support lineup. I need an Ana or a Kiriko, but an Ana is almost necessary whenever I am on Ram. Now, the other reason why I personally think that this nerf kills the character completely, and I have my phone to be a little bit more specific. When do I go Ramattra? I go Ramattra into most of the time Sigma and Ryan. Okay, I'm gonna reiterate on that. And then other times it's Winston, but Winston really out mobile me. Winston is so much mobile than me, because sometimes I can do damage. My damage goes through Winston's bubble, but now the reason why Ramattra is going to be dead, because almost every other tank in the game directly counters Ramattra, and Ramattra cannot do anything. Like sometimes how, like, for example, the Zarya D.Va matchup. Supposedly Zarya counters D.Va, but actually, if you're a good D.Va, you can still play that, and you can still outplay the Zarya, and you can still get value, and you can still win games. But with Ramattra, if it's not against Sigma and Rhine, you literally cannot play Ramattra. Now, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go all by one. D.Va outmobiles Ramattra. She doesn't need an ability to go in and to get out. Okay, boosters, but it's much shorter. And D.Va can protect her backline, while also diving, while also being one of the biggest threat, if not the biggest threat, into Ramattra's backline. Ramattra cannot protect his backline from D.Va. She can access high ground. She outpositions him. She pretty much, I think she even outdamages him, and significantly a better ultimate in my opinion. Okay, and she does not need to use an ability to counter. To eat. To tank, to eat damage, which because hers is on her resource, while Ramattra has to use Nemesis form. Okay, see, like all these reasons, that's okay. So again, D.Va wins any day of the week. Now we're gonna go to Doomfist. Doomfist also, it's an even matchup, I would say. Well, if a good Doom knows how, a good Doom will win that matchup, but also it's not a free matchup for Ramattra, because again, Doom is a threat to hit back, and he can go literally all the way deep, and Ramattra will just watch his entire team gets slaughtered, and he cannot do anything about it. A bad Doom will always lose that matchup, because, Brawly time in lower elos, Ramattra will win. But I'm talking about, generally speaking, it's not an easy matchup for Ramattra, and I always lose if I go Ram into Doom. I need to go D.Va into Doom. So even Doomfist, Doom will win that matchup. Okay, let's go to Queen. One of the worst things you can go is go Queen. Go Ram into Queen. Queen can heal herself while brawling you. She's a better brawler than you, and she can just farm you, and if she ults, she kills your entire backline, and you have nothing. You cannot do nothing. you can't do anything, and she's tighter when it comes to her hitbox, so it's much tougher for you to land your stuff. So again, the queen versus, because her passive is literally healing, and you don't do enough damage to burst through the healing that she receives from her team and the healing that she does to herself by her passive. So Ramattra is really bad against JQ. Maga, I mean, do I really have to say anything? Maga directly counters Ramattra. Orisa counters Ramattra. Orisa is a much better brawler than Ramattra. She can stun him. She can CC him to death. Ramatra's damage is insignificant to Orisa. She takes 0 damage from Ramatra. Again, she's a much better threat to his team. If there's an Orisa in the field, Ramatra cannot go past the Orisa. Hog. Actually, guys, I know this is crazy, but actually, a good Hog will 1,000,000% always win the Hog Ramattra matchup. Hog is so good against Ramattra if played correctly. Again, Hog is really good against Ram. Winston does pretty darn well against Ramattra because he has the mobility, and mobility always wins most of the time. A Ball has pretty alright matchup, I would say, but again, we don't really see Ball a lot, so I don't really know the matchup, but I feel like Ball has pretty good matchup against the Ram because Ram cannot do anything to the Ball. Zarya has actually pretty good matchup against the Ram because she can bubble everything that he does, whatever, just bubble his, whenever he goes, literally all you gotta do is when bait out the shield is out, he's in Nemesis form, you just literally bubble everything off. You see, and if he has a Zara, if he has an Ana, you can bubble off the nade. You see what I mean? Because Ramattra most of the time wants an Ana, and if there's an Ana in the field, and if you get naded, you bubble everything off. You see what I'm talking about? And Grav is a better ultimate than Annihilation. Keep in mind, guys, Annihilation is actually, it's a good ultimate, but it's actually not the best ultimate in the game. You can break LOS from it easily. The thing is, you can get shut down easily because, like I said, if Ramattra wants to go in, he needs to expose his body to every ability in the game. Sleep, nade, dynamite, everything. All those things add up, and all these stuns, like headshots, McCree damage. It's actually, guys, it's actually really crazy. And maybe you don't relate if you're playing in the lower elo, but if you are in diamond and above, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ramattra is actually pretty difficult to play, even considering I'm talking about even like your matchups, like good players know how to counter Ram. You actually need, like, Ramattra is actually a high skilled, like it's like a high skilled version of Reinhardt. The skill expression is really high. You cannot afford to make mistakes on Ramattra. You need to time your abilities correctly. You need to know when to use your shield, when to not. Like, literally, it's just Ramattra. I don't understand why they nerf him. So this is my point that I really wanted to make. The second point is really important because the only two characters that you want to go ram into, which is most of the time, number one, Sigma, you completely delete Sigma of the game because you do Sigma's job and Ryan's job in one character. You brawl him and you poke him. So Sigma just completely, like, I'm not going to say like it's 90 to 10, but it's like 70-30. Like a good Sigma with the right team comp, maybe if he pokes him out correctly, but most of the time Ramattra will win that. A good Ramattra, all you got to do is put the shield behind the Sig, and Sig cannot get heals. You just rush him out, and Sigma's kinetic grasp won't give value against you. But the Ryan matchup, for example, the thing is why a lot of people struggle against the Ramattra when you're playing the lower elo. A lot of lower elo players, lower elo support players, they position themselves badly. You do not want to stick to your Ryan's booty if you want to heal. Ana can stay in the back, Brigitte can just literally keep her distance, because if you do that, what's Ramattra going to do? Because if you use Pummel to damage the Rhine, you're not going to kill the Rhine. You're using the Nemesis form pretty, like, you're using it wrong if that's what your intention of going Ram is. If your intention is to use your Nemesis to just damage the Rhine, no. Ramattra wants to go in the backline and punch whatever like next to the Rhine. But a lot of high ranked players, they always outplay the Ram. All you got to do is just position yourself better, and the Ram cannot do anything. That's the thing. Ryan always wins. And during ult phase, Ramattra has always two options, like I said. He can, like, He can ult in most of the time. Ramattra, like, well, at least sometimes, but most of the time, Ramattra chooses to ult to really to stay alive. You know, like he actually needs to think twice. And by the way, keep in mind his ult can also can completely get denied by Reinhardt. Reinhardt can block Ramatra's ultimate. And like I said, Ramattra sometimes, I'm not gonna exaggerate and say most of the time, but at least in higher ranks most of the time for me, he needs to choose. Does he want to ult to get more HP and to tank even more? Or does he want to go aggressive and risk and like high risk, high reward? Does he want to go in, confirm a kill? Because if he goes in, that means he knows that he needs to get a good trade because abilities are going to be landed on him. Or does he wants to ult and just block more to extend his nemesis form? But Reinhardt, like Ramattra, yes, it's like a good fluidity. Like he can use his ultimate aggressively or defensively, but his offensive capabilities is not as good as Reinhardt, for example. Reinhardt, if he decides to ult, it's a guarantee. Like I mean, if he lands it, of course, but against Ramattra, it's almost never. It's like you almost never miss it. If Reinhardt lands his his shatter during ult phase, always Rein's has more guarantee to win the fight or at least win the ult battle because he has a better ultimate than Ramattra. Because Rein can wipe his team, but Ramattra cannot wipe. Yeah, he can, but like in higher ranks, like I said about the whole positioning thing. You know what I mean? So exactly, like Ramattra cannot punish Rein with annihilation, but Reinhardt can certainly punish the Ramattra with his ultimate. So you see what I mean? Like it's very it's just crazy how they actually did the pummel thing. Rein can hit his shatters anytime he wants to. All he gotta do is just track the shield. He doesn't need to expose. I mean, yeah, like his. Well, I guess now it's a quality. His melee goes through shields, and he can block abilities and sleeps, nades, and stuff like that whenever he wants with his shield. Unlike Ramattra, he needs to use his ability, which is shield, only 14 seconds cooldown, something like that. That's why this nerf will kill Ramattra. I know that from experience. I really will be surprised if Ramattra will be good. But yeah, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If I'm right, tell me. If I'm wrong, tell me. If you have anything else to say, please tell me. Let me know what you guys think of the balance change overall. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, share with your friends if you learned a thing or two. And this video is 10 minutes longer than I initially wanted, but it is what it is. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peepa.
Yeah, I'll let you know. First one. Recall is out. Oh, hit me.